the sports guys will know I don't usually bring notes up. And they also know that I can occasionally talk in circles. And this, in my mind, the sensitivity of an NCAA investigation and the importance of it warrants the fact that I need to be very accurate, very succinct, and on point. Last spring practice, I received some emails regarding an ongoing federal criminal drug trafficking case. And in those emails, and I think you may have them, I'm not sure, it was pretty graphically outlining the some of the parties involved, and you know, was obviously of tremendous concern to me. We get lots of emails, try to return them all. Most of them, someone is interested in something, perhaps something we can do or share or whatever. This one was obviously different. It elicited obviously a different emotion than you typically get from someone who needs a hospital call or a visit or a letter or something, and it kind of jogged in my mind some of the toughest losses I've ever had in coaching. Because I get a lot of good emails saying that people enjoy the job that our guys do, or their visit to a hospital, or sometimes we even get them that professor's not happy with their behavior in class or whatever it happens to be. But this one, as these emails began, was obviously much different than that. And I've had a player murdered. I've had a player incarcerated. I've had a player get taken into the drug culture and lose his opportunity for a productive life. And so it was obviously tremendously concerning. Quite honestly, I was scared. Especially the fact that two of our current players were mentioned in the emails. And, you know, that as we sit in homes, we talk about, most especially, we're going to take care of these young people, and we're going to treat them like they're our own. And admittedly, I probably did not give quite as much thought to the potential NCAA part of things as I read it. My focus was you know, on the well-being of the young people. Also in those emails, it was very, very emphatic that with the nature of a federal investigation, that there be confidentiality. The tenor, as I read them, perhaps because of my emotion, was that it was serious and that confidentiality was critical. As I thought about a plan of action, the most immediate thing that I did is ramp up tremendously the discussions that we have ongoing about the importance of who you associate with, where you are, company you keep, and so forth. And I probably, or definitely, didn't move forward with this information to anyone simply because in my mind I couldn't think as to who that best would be, with the seriousness of what was discussed in the emails and also the confidentiality component. We worked very hard to make it a teachable moment, and as time went on, in my mind what was most important was that we didn't interfere with a federal investigation. Obviously, it was my hope that our young people, whether they were current or former, wouldn't be involved in something like that. But obviously I didn't know. And that I needed to keep sight of the fact that confidentiality was requested by the attorney, and so I followed that. When December came and we were given information from the U.S. Attorney General's office that 6 of our current student athletes were involved, obviously that was disappointing. It was encouraging, though, that no one was involved in any federal drug trafficking situation, and there was no criminal acts of any kind, and that was a huge relief. I knew, obviously, at that point in time we would have NCAA ramifications, and we would deal with that immediately, of which we did. And I also felt as if that I had upheld within the entire situation that confidentiality that perhaps made it the safest situation for our young people. So as I think back to what I could have done differently, because obviously, as Gene mentioned in the outset, an NCAA violation occurred on my part. I asked for a little advice as to how I should have taken this forward. I've learned that I probably needed to go to the top legal counsel person at the university and get some help as to how you handle criminal investigations and handle confidentiality and perhaps gain the protection that you might need within the process. So I have now learned that, most certainly. Obviously, I'm disappointed that this happened at all. I take my responsibility for what we do at Ohio State tremendously seriously, and for the game of football. And obviously, I plan to grow from this, and I'm sincerely saddened by the fact that I let some people down and didn't do things as well as I could possibly do. I am pleased that the young people involved are safe. They're not involved in any criminal activity. They're all in college, and they're all going to graduate from Ohio State. To me, that's what it's all about. But I understand that, you know, we'll have sanctions. I will have sanctions. But the only thing that I've talked to our team about, which I mentioned to them this morning after there was discussion in the media last night that I was certain some or all had seen, was that I mentioned to them a quote that I had heard George Bush say, that the most pathetic thing is a leader who's looking for self-pity. So at no point in time in this moment or in the moments ahead with my team or with anyone else am I looking for anything other than doing what needs to be done, growing from the experiences we've had, and continuing to serve the greatest university in America.